friends, this video is for our 2nd through 4th grade team for October week 3. This month we are learning all about grit, refusing to give up when life gets hard. And our memory verse for this month says, "Let us not become tired of doing good, for at the right time we will gather a crop if we don't give up." Galatians 6:9. Well, in our timeline, we just wrapped up learning about Jacob, and he ended up bringing his whole family to Egypt to save them from a famine. And now we fast forward a few generations, and Joseph's family, God's people, were growing in number. Pharaoh ended up enslaving them because there were so many, and he made life miserable for them. And that's where Moses comes in. Moses was born when Pharaoh went even further and commanded that all the Israelite baby boys should be killed. Moses' mother and sister probably weren't too sure that putting Moses in a basket in the Nile River would keep him safe, but they were determined to keep Moses alive. They chose not to give up. God rescued Moses through the Pharaoh's daughter, who ended up bringing Moses into the palace as her son and raised him as an Egyptian. So this week our bottom line is hold on even when you don't know what to do. One of the biggest lessons we learned from Moses' mom and sister is that they never gave up trusting in God. They weren't sure how their circumstances would work out, but they believed that God would keep Moses safe. They held on to hope, and God came through for them with a major rescue, and God can do the same for us. God can meet us in our confusion and give us the grit we need to push through. So we will actually be learning about Moses for the rest of the month. This week is just about when Moses was a baby. So jumping into our leader guides for this week, we'd love for you to join us at 8:20 and 10:20 in the garage door room. I know that it's early, but it is just such a great way to get your Sunday morning started, praying for one another and just really focusing our minds for the day. Then just make sure that you are to your small group area by 8:30 and 10:30. When kids start to roll in at 8:40 and 10:40, they can play with toys. We've also got our coloring sheet devotional for this week with Moses and his mom and sister that they can color. Then when service starts at 9 and 11, you're going to do a little Simon Says game. Each kid, they haven't come in yet, they're going to get a little Pop-It bracelet, and they're going to hold the bracelet, and you're going to play Simon Says, asking them to put their bracelet up or down, left or right, in or out. And once kids get the hang of it, you're going to tell them to do the opposite of what you say. So if you say, Simon Says, put your bracelet up, they're actually going to put their bracelet down. And you'll go slow at first, but then you'll pick up the pace until the game gets really messy for 2 or 3 calls at the end. And then you'll just end by saying, Simon Says, sit down. And you can close by saying, whoo, that got really messy at the end, didn't it? Well, sometimes things in life get messy too, and that happened for the family in our Bible story today. So let's go to large group and learn more. And you're going to want to collect their Pop-It bracelets before they go to large group. They're going to get those back later on for another game. So then at 10 after, you'll head across the hall to large group. Hold on, Henry. When you get back from large group while kids are eating their snack, Henry, hold on. Oh, moms, do you feel me? Okay. While kids are eating their snack, you're going to gather them and brainstorm ways that they can follow Jesus, love God, or love others. And you're going to write their ideas down on a big piece of paper that's on your cart. Here's some examples here of ways they can do that. And you can just close down by saying there's sometimes in our lives when we're not sure of what to do next. And when that happens, we can ask God for help. And we can hold on and follow Jesus. We can hold on and love God. And we can hold on and love others. And then you can just close in a prayer. Then for their memory verse, help them look up Galatians 6:9. Practice the verse a few times with their hand motions. And then they're going to get those Pop-It bracelets back, and they're going to pop them, put them on their wrist, and they're going to push down a Pop-It for every 2 words of the verse. So they'll say, let us not grow tired of doing good. At the right time, we will gather a crop if we do not give up. And they'll practice just saying their memory verse several times while they push their Pop-Its down. And you can tell them that they can wear their bracelet during the week to remind them to keep doing good things by loving God, following Jesus, and loving others. And you can just close by saying, Paul encourages us in this verse to not grow tired of doing good. And that means to do good even when we don't see why we should or when it would be easier to do the wrong thing. So how can you remind yourself to choose the right thing even when you don't want to? Have some discussion about that and say maybe their bracelets will remind them. And then the last thing, you're going to play some bingo. So you'll give each kid a bingo board, and I've actually got those little fruity candies that they're going to use as covers. And then you have, this is like the kids will pick one of these out of the bag, and that will be like what you're calling on your bingo board. And so what you're going to do is you're going to have kids draw a bag, and then you're going to describe what's happening in the picture and encourage kids to think of ways that they could hold on even when they don't know what to do. And if they're stuck, ask them how they could love God, love others, or do what Jesus would do. So, for example, if someone's feeling left out on the playground, how could they love others? They go help them. They see a lost dog poster. Oh, could they go help that person? If someone's scared, could they pray? If you see someone arguing, maybe you could pray for them. You can make a card or bring over a meal. If they're worried that they could be praying then or listening to worship music. If they broke a friend's toy on accident, they could write an apology card. How can they love God, love others, and follow Jesus through all of those things? And then you'll just close down by saying something like, when you aren't sure what to do next, ask God for help. God loves you more than you can imagine, and he's always with you. And maybe try to give kids a personal story about a time when you held on even though you didn't know what to do next. And say, so when you don't know what to do, just remember how much God loves you. Look for ways to follow Jesus, love God, and love others. And that is it for this week, guys. Thank you so much for serving. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. You guys are just the best ever, and I'm so grateful for all of you, and we'll see you on Sunday.